from my website. In addition to the VPN software that you're going to use. So, under the iOS ASA, you are going to grab these two files, 802-k8intrit.gz and 802-k8.kernel. You're going to download them to your C:\temp directory. In GNS3, yes, I know. In GNS3, you will go under Edit, Preferences, QEMU, ASA. Okay? And then you will click the dots, put the Enter D, and click the dots, put the kernel image where they are. It'll open up a dialog box. You go in there, you select it. Right? Okay. You go in there and you select it. Pop up there, same with the kernel. You have to give it an identifier name. I highly suggest this is going to default to 256 mega RAM. Double it, increase it to 512. Keep the number of NICs and slots the same, no big deal. You don't have to use KVM. Don't mess with the kernel command line. You don't need that. Click Save. Okay. Click Apply, OK. Hold on. Then, when you drag your ASA across, set it up. Okay. Now when you turn it on, you're going to need to know one additional thing. Second. Everybody take out a pen, or make sure you record this. You need to write this command down. You need this mount command right here. You will need that mount command. It's in GNS3. Turn the ASA on. Okay. QEMU boots up the Linux, the flash basically. Then when you click the console, wow. Okay. It's going the first time it's going to stop right here. And it's going to give you a pound sign. Just a pound sign. And that's where you have to put that mount command in. It's already in memory, that's why it's working right now.
You showed
Huh?
you showed it the mount of
It's okay. I'm going to start over. It's right there. I'll come back to it. Hang on. There we go. I shouldn't rush through. Okay. Okay. On. Console. Okay, it's already mounted the disc. All right. That's what this mount command is. Okay, it's just not showing the okay, so it's mount this 0 Lena -M. It's the same as this. Huh?
There's space in between.
Yes, there's a space. Lena space -M. Whack M&T, whack this 0, whack Lena LINA space -M. Ah, you'll come to the mount. You'll come to this sign. So whack mount, whack disk 0, whack Lena space -M. Okay. You enter. Interesting. Not going to work right now. There we go. That mounts the drive. And you come to the Cisco ASA prompt. You hit enable, the password is defaulted to blank. If you do a show run, write this down, remember this, please, so that you don't waste 6 to 8 hours like I did. Okay? Helpful hint. This is wrong. You see how all the interfaces are shut down? It's not picking up the full configuration of the ASA default. Alright? This ticked me off. I kept stopping, restarting GNS3, trying to figure out Google searches. And I think at like 11 or 12 o'clock at night when I was just dog tired, I couldn't remember if I had stopped and started GNS3 for like the 1000th time. I just went through it again. And lo and behold, it worked. All I did was kill the shell, stopped it, restarted it, okay, reconsole to it, okay, because I had already ran that mount command before, so it just came right back up, bam. I get all the, it gets its correct initial configuration, gets it correct in it. Alright. So, from here, we can configure Ethernet 00. Now, when I configure Ethernet 00, I still have to give it a name. I still have to give it a security level. I still have to give it an IP address. Okay, now it's not like a router where I just give it an IP address and turn it on. I have to do those other things. So, if I go into interface Ethernet 00, and I type name IF, and this is my outside interface, it's going to automatically default the security level to 0 because it's a recognized name. Good. I put in the IP address just like I would a router, 10.20.10.1. No shut. Go to E01. went to E01 automatically.
Oh, okay.
Name IF. This is inside. And again, inside is going to default to security level 100 automatically. Now, when I try to write to memory, ooh, it failed. The ASA does not save the configuration because it's using QEMU. It's not using Dynamips. So you're going to have to save your configurations manually. You're going to have to save your configurations manually. Everybody repeat after me. You're going to have to save your configurations manually.
Manual.
Here's how you do that. Once you do a show run, you paste through it. Right? In PuTTY, all you have to do is come up here, right click on your two little computers, copy all to clipboard. Alright? Then I can paste everything. Now, what I need to do, when I'm done, kind of clean it up here a little bit. Don't need my checksum. Do the last bang there. Find my show run. There's my show run. So I just need from host name down. All this other stuff I'm just gonna erase. Alright. Now, when I kill that connection, it's gone. Whoops. When I bring it back, you're like, oh, well, this is going to come back and have all the configurations and everything else, and we'll be good to go, right? Oh, it does. Good. Good, good.
What is it?
Hold on. When you kill this screen, QEMU, because it's still running resident memory. When you kill QEMU, turn it off. That's a bad thing. Turn it back on. Comes up, boots up the Linux kernel. Do you want to go through interactive prompts? No, I don't want to. How do you show? Oh, all my stuff's gone. All my IPs were there, right? Alright, so here's how we come over that. Config T. Go to that configuration that you saved. And I'll even, you know what? I'll even change my host name. So you don't think I'm doing any smoke and mirrors? Script that in there. Control C. And to paste in, you just come over here over the green dot and right click. There we go. And that's how you get it back. Any questions on that? Yes?
In TerraTerm, do you save the configs the same way?
Yep. Except you actually have a copy and a paste. You actually have a copy and a paste. Yeah, Renee.
Do you have to run idle PC?
Idle PC will not work on QEMU. So, good question though. Let's take a look at what my processor's running at here. I got a Core i5 I'm running, just a little bit, not that big of a deal. QEMU's very thin. It's not like Dynamips. Dynamips is a lot fatter, all right, and does not process CPU cycles as efficiently as Qemu. Okay, but as you can see, it's a flippin' memory hog.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. I only got 3 gigs in this box. It's a huge memory hog. But actually, you know what? I take that back. It's a huge memory hog because I'm running this here. I'm running Backtrack. That's why I'm burning up so much memory. So this is because of the VM I'm running, not because of the ASA. All right, so that takes care of that. Now, okay, for your VPN setup, there are some things in the parameters of the VPN that I want you to do. Okay, there's the username and passwords. All right, don't forget to set this as your host name. I kind of did step number 2 for you. Okay, for your VPN, set your crypto to use DES with AH on layer 2 if you can. If you can't, depending on the ASA, number 4, set it to the lowest crypto that you can. Not the highest, but the lowest crypto that you can. That's the lowest that I could conceivably coming up with it, and this still working. Okay? Set any pre-shared keys to Cisco. Any default passwords to Cisco. Set up the ASA to use SSH only. Okay? You can't use Telnet. So don't set up Telnet, set up SSH only. Like your VTY lines, your console. Set up DHCP on your, it should say ASA, to support the 172.21.10 network, following parameters. Set up a standard access list on your ASA to deny any IP traffic from there, from the outside, which is the 10 network. Set up your device to use the 10.20.10.1 address as a PAT for the 172.21.10 network. So you're going to have to look up, geez, how does PAT work? How does port address translation work? Okay? A lot simpler than the router. A lot simpler. So, 2 commands only. Global. Okay, and name. I'm sorry, you're inside or outside. So global outside, a marker, which in this case can just be an integer. Alright. Then the IP address or the interface. So in this case, I said use the interface. Yeah, which is the outside, so interface. Global outside 1 interface. Okay. And then NAT. In this case, we're natting the inside. 1, the integers have to match up. The integers have to match up. And then you give it the network, which in this case is the 172 network. 172.21.10. That's it. 2 commands. You have PAT set up. Remember before on the router we had to set the inspection list, an ACL, do all kinds of stuff on the inside and outside interfaces. No, 2 commands. Gotta love ASAs. Alright. So that's step 9. And then, Steve, pay attention to this because I don't want you to lose points. Alright? Harden your device like you did in Lab 2. Set up 2 laptops, desktops. One on the 10.20.10 network, one on the 172.21.10 network. Using the Cisco VPN client, which is again on my website. You go under VPN. Here are the VPN clients. The last two are the ones for Windows. MSI is 32-bit. WinX64 is, guess what? 64-bit. Okay? Now, you don't have to set up two VMs. You can do this with one single VM, preferably on the inside, and set up the VPN client on your host machine and tie it to the outside. Tie it to the outside. And then what you're going to do is you're going to VPN to that router. You've got to set up the client to do that. Alright? So let me give you a little bit of a hint here. Everybody take a picture, write it down, take a snapshot, commit it to memory, whatever. This is the exact step by step that you need to set up a remote access VPN on the ASA for the exact code version that you're using, 8.2. No guesswork. Alright? Here, take a look. All the way down, here's all the steps in each and every one. We're doing command line, we're not doing ASDM. But here at the bottom, except you won't have to write to memory because it won't write to memory, you have to copy and paste. Okay? There's your outside, there's your ICKMP policies. Alright? So I use 3DES and SHA. They use 3DES and SHA. You can use AH up there. If you can't use AH, you use single DES and AH. Can't use AH, you can use SHA as well. That's fine. All right, so I'm not too worried about that. If you get something in there, you'll be good. Set up your, here's your DHCP. Here's your username and password. Okay, you'll have to repeat this for all your users. Your tunnel groups, your address pool that ties to it. Alright, your pre-shared key. This will be Cisco for your instructions. Your crypto maps. That's it. Then you set up your client. You have to create a PCF bot. Once you install your VPN client, all you have to do is, I have way too many VPN connections. Sorry. Click on New. Your connection entry is just what you're going to name it. So you say, oh, this is going to be Lab 3. Description, Lab 3. Point. Your host. This is your IP address. So in this case, it's going to be the outside IP address of your network, which is the 10.20. Whatever. 10.20.10.1. Okay. Your group authentication. Well, when you name your group, that's going to be your tunnel group name. In this case, your tunnel group name is test group. You can name it whatever you want, but when you're setting up your client, Your tunnel group is that name right after tunnel group. Everybody got that? Any questions on that? So I know I'll have 5 or 6 of you ask me, why do I send it my name? What?
Can you see that one more time?
Sure. Your tunnel group name is, okay, your group authentication name. Your password is your pre-shared key, so it'll be Cisco. Alright? Now, you can go ahead and do all this transport stuff. If you keep it to the defaults, it should work. We're using IPsec over UDP with NatPat. We're not using any backup servers or dials or anything like that. Click on Save. Alright, and then you should be able to double-click Connect. You have connectivity between your ASA and your VM or your computer. You should connect. Okay? So, when you connect to something, you're going to use that username and password that you put in there for the connection. I'm just VPNing into my work right now. Okay? If you set a banner, you can set a banner, you can take a screenshot of the banner, or you can just simply show me that you're connected to whatever. Okay? Lab 2 or whatever. Screenshot that. Good. Questions? I know I made this sound really easy. It's not. VPNs are one of the hardest things that you struggle with. Now, remote access VPNs are one of the easier ones to set up. They're one of the really easy ones to set up on the ASA, or even a router. Okay? But for whatever reason, users that are out there, they can't click on an icon anymore, it seems, and just use a client. They've got to go through a web page. They've got to go through SSL. They've got to go through EasyVPN or any Connect VPN, like they're running their own program. And it's got to save their credentials, and all kinds of bad things happen when that occurs. All right? So, that's about it for lecture tonight. I do have one announcement. Who here, I know some of you have jobs, you're gainfully employed, that's great. I commend you. However, I know some of you are looking for stuff. And I had an alumni, Paul Ambrosini, who was one of my students in this very class about 4 years ago, who is now a senior consultant at Foundstone. Who's here has heard of Foundstone? Anybody know what Foundstone is? Everybody's Googling Foundstone right now. Okay, Foundstone is McAfee's security consulting penetration testing arm. Okay? They're all over the United States, they're all over the world. And Paul shot me an email just tonight. Let me read it to you. Okay. So if you go on to McAfee.com or go to through Foundstone and you put in their search engine intern Viejo, it's the first one that pops up, Foundstone intern job. You can just put in that Foundstone intern job on McAfee's website. Alright, it's just posted a couple weeks ago. Alright. kind of read over the roles and responsibilities. It sounds like a lot, but they're looking for somebody who's they could potentially hire. They could potentially hire this person. All right, and this is how Paul got his job. What he did was, one summer between his junior and senior year, he went and did this internship for 3 months. Came back to school, did the whole CCDC thing, went to nationals, started another internship, then got hired by Boeing with the rest of the team. Stayed at Boeing for about 6 months, decided, you know what, I don't like this Boeing thing, I want to go back to Poundstone. They took him back in a heartbeat. Okay? So, Paul's a great guy. This is kind of what he wrote to me. Yes, Professor Brown, is this paid? Of course it's paid. Pay is actually pretty good for an internship. He wouldn't give me a number though. It is full time. It is full time for 3 months, so it is 40 hours a week. So if you think you're going to go to school and do this, no. No, 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 no. We will spend 3 months teaching you how to be a consultant. The chances are extremely high that we will offer you a job after this because we're going to be spending a lot of time teaching you how to be a consultant. Resumes on our website, gives me the link. Location, Mission Viejo. There's almost no one in that office except McAfee people and 2 Poundstone IT guys. They're real cool. One of them's even an intern like you, or the potential person. There's free soda, coffee, tea, snacks in the morning and after lunch. Fridays they bring in bagels, fruit, muffins. Here's the downside. During the 3 months, I traveled, they said I would travel about 70% of the time. Well, they didn't lie. For the first 3 months, I traveled about 3 weeks out of every month. Okay, after my initial training. So they're going to train you for a while and then they're going to send you to places. They send them to training, they send them to do work on consulting gigs. Now, here's an upside. After that was all over and I was on full time, I have a lot of flexibility. As an intern, they wanted to keep you in and around the office just because. But, you know, after a couple of months, if you stay on there full time, you start doing external network pen testing, McAfee doesn't even want you on their network. So I did a lot of work from home. And now he pretty much works out of his house full time. So that's the upside. Paul's a great guy. He always comes back every year to be a red teamer at Western Regional CCDC. He is really good, especially at breaking into Windows boxes through web pages. SQL injection stuff is his game. He's really, really good at it. It's a great opportunity. If you're not doing anything this summer, you'd like to try out for that, I say give it a shot. You never know what's going to happen. So, we'll see. So I wanted to pass that along to everybody. Happy alumni stay engaged and involved. Do you have any questions? Yes, sir.
Sorry, this is like from way back in the beginning, but for the ASA, you're downloading the 802K8.
Yep.
So the intred.gz and the
Yep.
K8.kernel.
Yep.
Okay.
You got it. 100%, man.
Cool. Just double check.
No problem. Yep.
When you set up the VPN, do you set it up on? You don't set it up virtually, right?
No.
Okay.
You know what? You want to connect the VPN to the outside.
Okay.
The outside of it. All right.
Most of all the commands are pretty similar to like.
They're very similar. They're a little bit different. Trust me, it's a lot better than what it was 12 years ago when Cisco had just bought the Wheel Group and they were bringing in the PIX appliance, the PIX firewall. And PixOS was completely different. It didn't have access control lists. It had something called conduit statements. It didn't have NAT per se. You had to manually do NAT. It was a lot harder. Would not do VPN at all. VPN was only introduced in Pix version 6, I believe. So Pix version 3, which is where I started off, you had to have a separate appliance, a separate device to do VPN. Or you had to allow VPN through the firewall to terminate on a device inside your network, which is kind of dangerous. So, then they had the NetRanger product, which is today's Cisco secure intrusion detection system. So, a lot of stuff has changed over the last decade plus. All right, if you don't have anything for me, I'm done. This was kind of a short night tonight. Sorry about that.